financially cool. If not, here's what to do. Just tune in to the Daily Bread. Daily Bread, Daily Bread. You have all the tools you need to help you to succeed. Just take heed. Listen to Joaquin. The boy graduated from college, dropping so much knowledge. This is what we do, and we are here to educate, motivate, elevate. Educate, motivate, elevate. Educate, motivate, elevate. Educate, motivate, elevate. You can elevate your life. Educate, motivate, elevate. Yeah. Educate, motivate, elevate. Educate, motivate, elevate. You can elevate your life.
I don't think I need an advisor or a coach to tell me to save my money. I know how to do it.
My name is Joaquin Thompson, Sr. Like millions of Americans, I struggled financially for many years because I was never taught the basics of personal finance. Today, I'm a financial literacy expert, author, and speaker that teaches students and adults the basic components of financial literacy.
I try to teach women in small businesses to understand, to have a short elevator pitch.
In the entertainment industry, we live in the moments. You know, it's all about being present.
The minister already got a jet. He already has a helicopter. So why do I need to be giving more money to the church? So
the magic of the moment happens in the moment. But that don't apply for finances. You know, that works for being creative.
Right. My goal is to educate, motivate, and elevate people to master the basics of personal finance. I show students and adults how to go from struggling to creating a secure financial future for generations to come.
And it's not a function for most folk of what you can or cannot afford. It's what you choose to afford.
Wow. Welcome to the Daily Bread with Joaquin Thompson, Sr.
As a church, I always like to tell the members, Georgia Power don't take scripture.
Right.
You know, it needs money in order to operate this organization.
Immediately, people are making these 3-second decisions about who you are. And so if you're not really sharp and you don't know what you stand for and you can't articulate that, you definitely can't market it.
Like a regular person has financial strain. So it's even more in some instances for someone with a history.
Right, with a conviction or
right.
And like you said, a lot of people are already struggling anyway, but that's why I want to put that piece in there so people understand the importance of understanding, and you brought up a key principle, ownership.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm your host, Joaquin Thompson, Sr., coming to you live from Marietta. I know every week we want to say Atlanta so bad, but we can't be putting no cap out there and say we in Atlanta, because the people in Atlanta be like, you ain't in Atlanta, you in Marietta. So we always, that's an inside joke. But welcome to the Daily Bread Radio Show. We have a very, very special guest in with us today. But before we get to her, I always have to do some level setting and let people know, because every week I get people in my DMs, I get people that's hitting me on TikTok like, the Daily Bread Radio Show, like, what is that? Like, I've been hearing a lot or seeing the clips. So I always like to level set and let people know what the show is about. So I was born in the 60s and raised in the 70s. So my grandmother, spent a lot of time with my grandmother. And my grandmother used to read this devotional. It was called the Daily Word. So she would read the Daily Word every day with her Bible. And I was a little jit, as they call them, right beside her. And she influenced me from that, just from a spiritual standpoint. So one of the things that we don't do on the Daily Bread Radio Show, we don't do religion, but we do spirituality. So if you ever see me pointing up, that means that we believe that everything that we're doing and everything that comes to us is from God. So hence, you get the daily. Now, bread is another story. Bread is something, that was a word that was used back in the 70s when we used to, refer to that related to money. So people would say, how much bread do you have? Or how much bread do it cost? And then it faded out, right? So you go through the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. Now we're in 2026. And as I'm scrolling through social media, now I'm starting to see people start talking about bread again. So bread is still an adjective or a connotation related to money. So hence, that's where the name comes from. It's the Daily Bread Radio Show. Now, what makes us different than a lot of other financial literacy podcasts that are on social media and on the internet is this. We do both sides of financial literacy. So there's what we call a great side. That's where people are just making money, hand over fist. Everybody's talking about. I'm making $10,000 a month. I'm making $20,000 a month. I'm a social media influencer. I'm making 100 G's. That's the great side. Everything's going your way. You in your season. You making money. No worries. We talk about that. We talk about investing. We talk about crypto. We talk about equities, indexes, universal life policy. We talk about all of that. But there's another side to financial literacy too. And on that side, that's what a lot of people, especially now that we have this war, it's impacting a lot of people economically. Gas is higher than it was a month ago. Bread is higher than it was a month ago. Food costs are still going up. People are still getting laid off because of AI. So all of this is culminating in people ending up in more bankruptcies, more foreclosures, more repossessions. People are really struggling. So what we try to do is just, give people inspiration and hope that it's just a season, right? So you may be struggling right now, but it's not going to always be like that. And it's things that you can do. The main thing is, what we always say on the show is, the first step is you just got to love yourself. Just say, hey, I'm going through a hard time, or hard times don't last, right? So the only thing you got to do is just put your head down, keep God first, and then keep it pushing. So tonight's show, super excited. We got a young lady in the building. This is, and I know she's real soft-spoken and humble, but I'm going to say it for her. To me, this young lady is the #1 scholarship expert in the U.S. I met her a few years ago. She laid some information on me that I felt like every person within the sound of my voice, or when you catch the clips on TikTok, social media, any social media platform, and it's talking about what we talk about today's show, you want to make sure that you got a pen and paper, because she's going to give some information that very few people have. And one of the things that I like about her is social proof. So she's not bringing no theory. She's not like, hey, I read the book, or hey, I saw it on TV. She's telling you her story, how she got her scholarships, how she made it through college, graduated with no debt. And what I want people to understand about scholarships is this. If you can get in and out of college with no student loan debt, you got a totally different trajectory in life. Bottom line, I'll be 60 years old next year. And one thing I can tell you is coming out of college without student loans versus coming out of college with student loans, that's a 40-year difference in your financial well-being. So without further ado, I want to introduce you all to Ms. Victoria Lamar, the CEO and founder of Securing Degrees. Mm-hmm. So welcome to the show, Victoria.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, I'm not as excited as me, because we're gonna get right to it. We're gonna let everybody, we got people on social media, so if you have questions, you could pop it in on TikTok. But we're gonna try to cover a lot of ground, because I know ever since I mentioned that you were gonna be on the show and we've been doing the promos, people have been like, I gotta see that show. I got a son going to college. I got a daughter going to college. So we're gonna jump right in. Okay. So let's start off at the top. Can you share with us your story and how scholarships and the role that scholarships played in your life?
Of course. So my story, I always like to start my story about, really birth story kind of. So I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised. Youngest of 4 girls, raised by my mother and grandmother, come from a single parent household. And so early on, early education or higher education was always so important to my family. So I always knew, it was very clear that I was going to go to college. Okay. My family, my mother and grandmother, they instilled higher education in us. And being the youngest of 4 girls, I was able to see 3 girls do it before me. So I saw 3 girls do it before me. So I definitely had a very great roadmap. But ultimately, the biggest thing was finances. So whether you have a roadmap or not, when it comes to knowing that you're going to go to college, that still doesn't help you pay for it. So by the time I got to my senior year of high school, as I mentioned, I already had 3 sisters, and one sister in particular, her name is Dr. Frederica Smith. Yes, so
not the name drop.
Yes, she went from undergrad to PhD all debt free as well. She was a Gates Scholar, and so with the Gates Scholarship, they pretty much paid for her 4 years undergrad at Johns Hopkins, her 2 years master at Tulane University, and then her even getting her PhD at Emory University.
Wow.
So that was really like, whoa. I saw that she graduated high school with $1.5 million in scholarships. And she was just a student that always got the awards. Like, that was her. So I had a great, and my other sisters are amazing too. So I had great examples. But by the time I got to my senior year of high school, I'm like, I just need to do what she did times 2. That was literally my thing. And that's ultimately what I did.
Times 2.
Yeah.
So you had to take the 1.5 to 3 million?
To 3 million. Yeah. And I was like, okay, let me just be involved. She was really in the band, but I was in like track and field. So I did track and field. She did Planned Parenthood. I ended up interning for Planned Parenthood. I ended up doing research at Emory in high school. So I just did a lot of things that really helped me be competitive and be just a holistic student. So ultimately, my senior year of high school, I had accumulated over $3 million in scholarships for my higher education. And by the time I graduated college 4 years later, I had profited over 6 figures from literally just tackling the scholarship process and having that perseverance.
You said that real low key. Wait a minute. You said 6 figures. So when you say profit, do you mean? Because I mean, we got some college students in the room, and I'm a college student. So I remember when I got my refund. Are we talking refund checks?
We talking about refund checks and just scholarships that don't go directly to the school.
So let's put a number to that. So when you say refund checks, like what kind of refund checks were you getting in undergrad?
Yeah, so even beyond refund checks, like scholarships, like I'm a Jackie Robinson scholar.
Okay.
That $30,000 went to me. Like, that didn't go to my school. So there's many scholarships that don't go directly to the school.
Okay. So the $30,000 went to you, and on top of that,
I already had full tuition at my university. So that's something that I try to make sure I work with my students on. It's like, if you're going to choose a school, try to choose a school that's choosing you. And the schools that are choosing you are usually the ones that are going to be throwing money at you. And the school I decided to go to, which was the University of San Francisco, for my first 2 years, it wasn't really my top 10 school.
Okay.
But they just kept sending me a lot of mail, and then I looked into it. Then I was able to get full tuition on top of other scholarships. So that's the easiest way to profit is usually when your school is already paid for.
Got it. So we're going to unpack a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
so
it's a lot.
You go, I mean, I'm already like, that's a lot. We can stop, like they said, Trey, we can stop now and just give your information, because when you said 3 million, it's very few people in the U.S. that can accumulate that type of money. $3 million as an 18-year-old, and you going into college. So you already all the way at the other end of the spectrum, because I was listening to some research today, and they were saying that right now, students that are graduating from college are spending 60% of their earned income on repaying student loan debt.
For sure.
So when you come out with that type of money, you accumulated $3 million, you go to undergrad. Did you go to grad school as well?
So I have not gone to grad school yet, but one of the things that I did really early on with those profits was I invested. So I started investing, like my Roth IRAs, the mutual funds. I bought my first property at 22. So I was able to do a lot of great financial moves when it comes to the money.
Oh my God. Victoria, like she said, this is a shutdown show right here.
You're hilarious.
So the whole thing, look, and this is all the stuff that we talk about on the Daily Bread. So she pivoted, meaning she didn't take the money and blow it. So it wasn't like the Bugatti bags or the Birkin bags or whatever they call them, Gucci bags. She said, I took the money and I invested it in a Roth IRA. I purchased some property, bought my first property at 22. So that means she was leveraging opportunity cost to improve her overall well-being. So now you go to undergrad, you do all these things. So what, after going through that experience, what inspired you to say, hey, you know what? I could take this same blueprint that I use for my life, because I know you said you were really following in the footsteps of your three sisters.
Yeah.
So now you grow, you graduate. So what inspired you to start securing degrees?
Yeah. So I actually started securing degrees a month after, in that same month of graduating high school. So I started my company at 17. And it was really because a lot of students start to ask me, and parents start to ask me, how did I get all this scholarship money? And what that meant for me was like, let me see, like, I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing. I also did not know I was an entrepreneur. But what that looked like was I went to local library. I asked them if I can rent out a space. Okay. I made an Eventbrite. I charged $5. I capped it at 50 people. And I was in everyone's Twitter DMs, like students, parents, like, hey, I'm doing a seminar on Saturday. It's $5. Like, I was very much a DM hustler back in the day. But I didn't even know I was hustling. But all that to say is my first seminar was like sold out. So all 50 people paid me $5. Every student left with a list of 100 scholarships. And then it was like a 1-hour seminar of me just talking about how I won scholarships. And I did like my library run for a few locations until I realized you can't charge people to come to the library. Like, I can't, So ultimately, a librarian told me, like, hey, can't really do that. I was like, okay, cool. And then at Westlake, my sister actually, Dr. Smith, she was like, for me, I thought it was just going to be like every summer I'm in college, I'm going to do these little seminars, and that's that.
Right.
But my sister was like, why don't you go to your high school and see if you could do a seminar at your high school? And my principal at Westlake at the time was Dr. Robinson. And he allowed me to do the seminar. And at the seminar, I had charged $10. The school paid $5, and the parents and families paid $5. So they kind of matched it. And ultimately, I didn't even know that was like my first B2B partnership. Correct. And by the time I went to University of San Francisco, within my first year, I was on a panel just like this. And within my first year, I had a contract with the San Francisco United School District. So it kind of just I don't know, but it was just such a niche that I feel like no one had known about. And me, like, I didn't have a scholarship coach.
Right. So
it's like something I just kind of created.
So how did you, but I guess it goes back to, how did you create this cheat code? Because to accumulate $3 million is not like you just applied. So did you, like, how did you find out, or when did you get to the point where you like, you know what, I know how to do this and I can duplicate this process and recipe? It's like a recipe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when did you get to the point where you realize, like, you know what, I get the panels, I get the charging. So at that point, you're an entrepreneur, you're advancing in your entrepreneurship journey. But then when did that light bulb when you're like, you know what, I could take all of this and then I could show somebody else how to do it too?
Yeah. It came really on very early on. Like, now it was started as seminars. Now I have my own proprietary tech platform. So we're working with hundreds of families ongoingly. And ultimately, like, what I tell people when they on board with us is they go over some rules to scholarships.
Okay.
And a lot of the rules to scholarships, when you think about a formula, has nothing to do with actually writing the essays. A lot of it is mental. So, like, what really got me to my $3 million is my ability to persevere and, like, my ability to persist through rejection. Because $3 million in scholarships, but also over 30 rejections, so.
Oh, yeah. I'll take 30 rejections. If you give me $3 million,
right.
Yeah, I'll take 30.
But
matter of fact,
many
I'll take
people
100.
are not. Many people, after their first rejection, 5th rejection, 19th rejection, 29th rejection, they really stop the momentum of the process. So
right.
It is a lot of, if you're consistent in the scholarship process, you will literally win scholarships. If you are consistently submitting high quality applications on an ongoing basis, you will win scholarships. So that's the recipe, right? And so what my platform does in a strategic way is help my students do that. So whether that's parental visibility, admin visibility, accountability is key. That is a part of my recipe. Whether that's helping with essays or providing students with a one-on-one coach that they're meeting with biweekly to help them submit high-quality scholarships.
Got it.
That yields to wins.
Got it. Okay. So we on a roll now. So now I'm getting excited. I want to go back to school and get me a scholarship. But let's talk about, because now we want to get down to just steps. So say someone is out here on social media, they're listening. And of course, I mean, you from Atlanta, so you already know. People going to watch the show and be like, yeah, right, she got lucky. Somebody probably helped her out. So what are some proven, what I call bulletproof, airtight steps that students and parents can take in 2026? So we got a large group right now that's getting ready to graduate, the class of 2026. So shout out to them. But what are some steps that students can take now? I get the perseverance part, so I think that's step one.
Yeah.
And with the perseverance, it sounds like they got to have the right mindset.
Yeah.
Right?
Number one is definitely get started.
Okay.
That's number one. Is start. That blows away at least.
And
70%.
how early can they start?
So really, the bulk of scholarships is going to start high school junior year. Before then, there might be some scholarships like create a greeting card scholarship or stuff like that. But like the bulk of the scholarships would be high school junior year up until you're debt free. So whether you're in college or grad school, you're still applying scholarships.
Okay, and I think so the first step is getting started. But after they get started, are they coming to work with you? Is it something that they can do on their own? Like,
yeah.
what's step 2 and step 3? Because a lot of people, when you're trying to teach them something, as you already know, because I'm sure you work with, like you said, hundreds of families, you basically have to hold their hand and say, okay, did you do step 1? I told you to do step 1, get started. And they're like still procrastinating or what have you. So you're like, okay, now you've gotten started. So what's step 2?
Yeah. So I would say step 2. So number 1, get started. Get started could be going to my website, securingdegrees.org. That could be doing it on your own, meaning going to Google and starting to search very specific things. So when I was in my search, that might be like scholarships for African-American women studying neuroscience, and now you have to spend the time to go through all of those links and identify what you're eligible for. Going back to the other option, at Securing Degrees, when students log on, they are first asked to complete their profile. So their profile is going to ask them questions such as demographics, academic, experience, involvement, and so many other things. And those questions is actually what's going to yield you to opportunities that you're matched for. I think it's also important for students to understand their eligibility, right? Many students now don't know their family household income. And that's a huge requirement, even when it comes to scholarships, knowing whether or not you are Pell eligible. Correct. Or being willing to talk about yourself. And that kind of goes to step 2 is step 3, create like an impact list. When I was in my senior year of high school, I had like a things you've done notes on my phone. So every time I did something, me on this podcast, I'm adding it to those notes. Because sometimes when students get to their senior year, you think they just never done anything. Right. You think they've never been a part of no club, y'all never volunteered before. And so oftentimes it's me working with that parent to tell me what the child has done because the child isn't talking about themselves.
They're being cool.
Yeah, so I think like also being clear on what your impact is and understanding that scholarships are businesses at the end of the day. So they want an ROI as well. And they're not just going to give you $10,000 if this is not worth $10,000. So like your scholarship has to be worth the investment. So getting started, understanding how you're going to find the scholarships, but also the quality. That was another part of the puzzle was you have to be ongoingly submitting quality applications on a consistent basis. So that kind of goes to the quality, making sure that your essays are edited. At Securing Degrees, we offer essay support because I realized we edited probably hundreds of essays a week. And so what I realized is like students want to submit the essays, but they have no one that's willing to edit their essays.
Right. And I think, and that's something that I'm seeing now. A lot of students are having a challenge with just being able to read, what I call read and write effectively. Because everything is short and they're using terms that come from text messaging. So I think that having a service like what you're offering, say, hey, we'll go back and proof it, because at any level, whatever you're submitting for, if the proof is where the quality comes from. Because if you write it the first time and you submit it, when you go back and read it, you're like, oh, I ain't mean that. I meant to say I want it, not
It's a
I
big
don't
part.
want it. So,
And their stories are great. Like, I read their stories. You know, we read their stories when we're editing. Great stories, but you need the proof.
yeah,
Yeah.
you got to have the proof. So
Yeah.
now we going down that path, and you all are. And the other thing about that in my research, I saw you have like different tracks. So when students and parents come to you about your business, you have a track where it's almost like I can show you what to do, and you can go off and do it, and we can come back and kind of help guide you. But then we also have the track where it's like they've kind of thrown their hands up, like I don't want to do it, I don't know what to do, and you all will do it for them. Is that true?
So we have no done-for-you services, and that's so important. Again, Securing Degrees is really built on accountability, and us being scholarship coaches, we are intending to coach you on how to do this process beyond us. Because on average, we're working with students for maybe like 8 months to a year. And so what that looks like is even when you're done working with me, we send you like a PDF of your spreadsheet. We send you all the essays we help you edit, and you need to keep copying and pasting, you know, and you can have us for 4 years. Go ahead. But our whole goal is helping you. But yeah, we do have 3 tracks. We have the self-guided track, the supported track, and the coached track. The self-guided track, as you mentioned, is really for those motivated students who don't really need someone to edit their essays. They might already have an advisor that they can add as a collaborator to the platform to be able to hold them accountable. But all the way up to the coach tier, I have a team of debt-free coaches. So all of my coaches have secured at least $100,000 in scholarships, and they coach our students through the process. So it's really the motto of debt-free students teaching other students how to be debt-free.
Whew. Boy, I told y'all. I kept telling them, Victoria. I said, you know what? I'm bringing this. I said, I'm bringing this young lady on the show, and she's gonna tell you about scholarships. But everything that you're saying now is right in line with what we talk about each and every week on the Daily Bread radio show. Because now you're talking about being able to give someone a skill, because just to break it down, because I mean, some people I know that they're with us, but sometimes it kind of goes over their head. But I always like to go back and retrace when special guests they've left such a big nugget, and I want to make sure that somebody doesn't miss the importance of what you just shared with us. When you say, I'm going to show you, if you come and work with our company, our goal is to get you in and out within 8 months to a year. And the reason that's setting up another question that I have for you, and it's something I want to address as well, about investing, because you talked about that earlier. So the goal is for Jane Doe and John Doe to bring their son to your, in your program, start to do business with you, and you're going to show them a skill set. Now, here's the thing that also, to me, was a unique selling point for you, which was getting individuals and showing them how they can also secure money for grad school, right? Because right now, and I want to make sure that the audience they don't miss how large this point is. Right now, for students to go to grad school, PhDs, dental school, medical school, law school, right? Any type of advanced degree grad school situation, you're looking at, I'm saying separate from what you paid in undergrad, we got people that are graduating, students are graduating from grad school, $200, $250, $300, $350, $400,000 in student loan debt. This young lady is saying, hey, look, you could come and work with our company. Not only will we show you the skill set where after you've gone through that session, all of those coaching sessions, you can copy and paste and do this and just duplicate what she's showing you, her and her coaches are showing you, and this is going to keep you from being indebted. So the difference is this. You going out and just applying to go to grad school, which is, that's commendable, right? Getting an advanced degree, you're going to have your master's in whatever field of study that you want to choose, or you going to get your doctoral degree. But to get a doctoral degree and graduate with a skill set that says, hey, I'm graduating with a doctoral degree, now you can command a higher salary but you have no student loan debt. That alone puts you in a whole nother category that I don't think a lot of people in our community are really grasping that concept, because people are still applying to go to college and they're looking at some of these private schools, i.e. Howard. I'm a graduate of Howard. My daughter's a graduate of Howard. But one of the things that I'm also a big proponent of is like trying to give students the opportunity, and parents, because we're really talking about households, give them the opportunity to learn different skill sets that's going to prevent them from getting into this hole. Because once you get in that student loan hole, the average student right now in 2026 that's graduating with student loan debt, and this is not me, this is data, right? So every week when I come on, I always tell you all, just do the research. Don't believe me. Just take what I'm saying, everything that I'm saying and the guests, just take it as fugazi and go do your own research. But the research is showing that the majority of students that graduate with student loan debt, it could take them upwards of 40 years to pay off their student loan debt. So that's from 22, 23 to 63. And this is real. That's going to impact what you can buy from a house standpoint. It's going to has the potential to impact relationships, whether or not people are coming together, getting married. Because think about it, you fall in love with somebody, you got $200,000 worth of debt. She has $300,000 worth of debt. Now combined, y'all in love, but now y'all coming into your youth, right? Meaning like we're just joining forces and we got $500,000 worth of debt combined. That's a lot. That's a lot. It's also adding to stress. Stress is leading to health issues. You see more and more young people have strokes, heart attack, where you didn't used to see young people having that type of stuff. And all of that's attributed to just the stressor of carrying that amount of debt for long periods of time. So with that being said, one of the things that Victoria brought up was there's a cost for her service. So I'm going to just put it out there for her, because I've been thinking about this. And every time that I've told a person, because I'm working in that same space, because we got my college finance. My college finance is a digital financial literacy platform. You can go to mycollegefinance.com, check us out. We teach financial literacy, students and parents. We're talking to universities, colleges, nonprofits, churches, individuals, groups. That's our space. That's our lane. Every time, every event that I've been to, and I tell people, if you need to know about scholarships, this is the person. This is the person that you need to get in touch with. Here's our information. This is what you need to do. Yeah, there is a cost, but the thing about doing business is this. You always want to look at, and Victoria mentioned it earlier, your ROI. What's your return on investment? So if you have to pay her a certain fee to show you this skill, and when she shows you this skill, you could amass a certain amount of money, that's just business. Right? So I don't want anybody to watch the show. I don't want nobody on social media like, oh, I could just, no, you can't. Because if it was that easy, people would be doing it. So if you hear us, if you see this, or if you scrolling and you run across this clip, because you will see this clip, because I'm sending it out everywhere. But if you run across this clip, the thing I want you to take into consideration is this. If you could invest whatever amount of money, I'm gonna let you fill in the blank. If you could invest a certain amount of money to prevent your son or daughter from coming out of college with enough student loan debt that's going to impact them for the next 40 years, how much would you be willing to invest? That's the question that you have to be asking yourself. How much are you willing to invest? You want to buy a car? You want to invest in tickets to go to a concert? You want to invest in clothes, shoes, spring break, bags, all this other stuff that's it's foolishness, and somebody's like, hey, you need to make an investment in you, because she said, hey, I'm good. I done tapped out at $3 million. I done ran my race. Now I'm helping other students do it. And if you're not willing to invest in yourself, then, hey, I'm going to let you handle that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. Victoria, I want you to sit tight because the stuff that you bringing is just too much. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. Because I'm like, man, I want to go back to college so bad. Because I'll get them $3 million.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a persevere, and we gonna get this, and we gonna get the cheat code. But y'all sit right where you are, and we gonna be back with more of the Daily Bread Radio Show. This is something that, unlike a lot of other things that you may learn in school, you may learn in your community.
I thought Mr. Thompson was an excellent educator on teaching financial literacy.
You will have your income, you will have your expenses, you will have assets and liabilities.
The program was very informative.
It was telling us like the fundamentals of how to be financially responsible.
Yeah, you should learn how to buy a house and buy a car. Also how to manage some bills.
Just real stuff that people don't really talk about, like just investing in your community.
You can benefit from economic empowerment. That's the cheat code right there.
One nugget is about stock when he gave like different resources.
The presentation went through litany of things that allowed these young men to understand finances and how those finances can either be of progress in their life or hindrance.
Credit cards, auto loan, home loan, personal loan. What's the probability of you defaulting on these things that you have taken a loan on?
See, he taught me a lot of new stuff that I never thought I would learn.
Unlike a lot of other things that you may learn in your community, you may learn from somebody else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm fairly knowledgeable in a lot of the information that he provided.
This game is the game that you're going to play in real life.
He's definitely motivated me and enhanced some of the knowledge that I didn't have so I can use it moving forward.
I think it's something that we need for our youth.
This is something that you're going to use from today until you're 15, 25, 75, 85.
My plan is to use tonight, research more into what you taught and develop a confidence in myself.
So he had a book. It states everything, how to do it, and also he has his own app, has a whole team full of experts, so you can just go to them to help you learn the finance.
All right, we back. The first, I had to take a break because it was just too much info. I know y'all couldn't take it. I could feel it. I can feel the people on social media. I can feel the people like, my goodness, they can't take it. But what this young lady is giving to you all, and here's the crazy part. She's still young. This ain't I'm 60. This is a young lady. She giving y'all so much game. Well, I'm saying if you don't tap into this, you got to be like, ooh, something ain't right. Something ain't right with this. Something ain't right. So one of the questions I had for you too, Victoria, was like, I know you work with like hundreds of students, hundreds of families, but what's one of those? I know you probably got a couple of stories about, one or two of those families that you work with that just kind of stood out to you, where it still makes you feel like either super proud that you was able to get them X amount of money, or they didn't think they were going to be able to get a scholarship, and then they end up getting 1.5 or whatever. Yeah. Can you tell us about one of those stories?
Yeah, like you said, there's so many stories. 85% of our students win their first scholarship on the platform. So it's constantly students winning on the platform. Past 5 months, we've already secured $3.8 million in private funding across about 500, 600 students. So it's so many stories.
Wait a minute, Victoria. Wait a minute. God dang, wait a minute.
There's a lot of stories.
Wait a minute. Time out. Say that. You just said that so casually and just say that part again.
Yeah, so 85% of our students win their first scholarship on the platform. So those are students that are going to their first scholarship banquet. They're getting that first email. They're getting that first mail and they're sent to their addresses. It's such an amazing experience. And then, so I built my proprietary platform about 5 months ago. So in the past 5 months, we already have 3.8 million in verified wins on our platform from our students. And 80% of those wins come from the essays we edited for them. So again, that is being a key piece. But there's literally so many stories. I have students or parents who joined the platform and they're just like, they're convinced that their child's not going to get any scholarships. They're so convinced. And I try to tell my parents, you have to be so intentional about what you're saying to your kids. Like, if you're telling your kid you don't do nothing, you're not really involved, you didn't do community service, like, it directly impacts their scholarship process.
Right.
But this child, I was really able to help her just pull out her greatness. You know, we have to hype our kids up. All of my scholarship coaches, just embedded in our curriculum is asking them what are they grateful for, helping them see how amazing they are, you know, how involved they are in all the things. So we ultimately was able to secure that family over $10,000 in scholarships. She had a $2,000 gap. So, and that was within 4 months. So her child, her parent was like super excited. There's also a family that reached out to me on Instagram. Her child was autistic. They lived in New York. And that was one of my coaching clients that I had to hype him up. I had to allow him to see how everything he's experienced, coming from a single parent household, living in New York, like really being a caregiver within his family dynamic. And he was able to secure a full ride scholarship at Hinson University and is profiting around $10,000 a month. So there's so many students that are profiting from scholarships. We're helping them secure full ride so they can be able to have that extra money, because when you think about profited money from scholarships, there's still so many things we need to use that money for. Even me, going from Atlanta to San Francisco, that's like a $500 flight. So you're telling me I can't come back home. You're telling me, you're telling me when I move in my university, I can't get a mattress topper or refrigerator or some hangers because you need extra money. So even beyond, profiting from scholarships, just being able to fill that gap is so important for the families that I serve. So I'm super grateful to help them because it's amazing. Yeah, for sure.
Man.
It's cool.
Only on the Daily Bread radio show. I had to slow it down because I'm sitting there like, let's say 10,000 a month, autism. You know how much, you know how many things you have to overcome just to get resources for someone? And now you're a caregiver, somebody, like, you helping people, you giving hope to the hopeless, right? Because a lot of these young people, they're thinking like, I can't get it. Even with a 2,000 sounds like it don't sound like a lot of money, but a $2,000 gap, right? I want y'all to understand. Here's another nugget for you. Do you realize that every year, every college and university, they have a group of students that have met all the requirements for graduation? And I've been studying this for at least 25 years. So I'm going to give this nugget to you all and show you why what Victoria is saying is so important. Every year, every college, especially historical black colleges and universities, right? Shout out to Howard for their first NCAA win, and Prairie View. For all the people who thought we couldn't do it, boom, there you go, black excellence. But every year, every college and every university, especially historical black colleges, have a group of students that have met all of the graduation requirements, but they have a small balance left. And for anybody who's been to college, I don't care how small your balance is, if you have a balance, they will not let you walk. You will not get your degree until you clear up that balance. That balance could be $2,000. Doesn't sound like a lot, but $2,000 may prevent a student, grandmother, grandfather, aunt, uncle, sister, brother, cousin, all the people that come to see this person persevere, go through all of these things, and they get to the end, and they won't let them graduate. So when Victoria's saying, hey, this person had a $2,000 gap, and we got them $10,000. That means once they met that $2,000, the other $8,000 is what? The flight. Do you realize how many students? And this was, again, I'm dating myself. This was 40 years ago. This was 40 years ago. All these students are saying, hey, I go to Howard, Spelman, Morehouse, Fisk, TSU, Tennessee State, FAM. Do you realize how many students that come from the West, from California, Portland, all of these states that are out West, and they come to a HBCU, because the HBCUs are where? In the East, right? They come to school. Do you realize a lot of these students don't have the ability to go back home until after they finish the spring semester? I'm talking about Christmas. Christmas. I was in college in the 80s. I had a daughter graduated in 2017. And she was talking about students in 2017 when she was at Howard that didn't have the money to go back to California and then get back to Howard. So what do? They stayed in D.C. So how many students in Tallahassee got to do the same thing? How many students at Fisk? Because a lot of these students are getting there, and they done tapped out. Just getting them there, that was it. Like, we tapped out. Because the thing about, and here's the other thing about scholarships and college tuition that people don't understand. Even when you helping a student go to college, right? And parents are putting out this money like, hey, it's going to be whatever, 10,000, 15,000, whatever the thousand it is, right? You still got a mortgage to pay. You still got car insurance to pay. You still got food because now you got two other siblings at home that you still got. They want to go to college too. So I'm saying, like, I want people to understand the urgency and gravity of the conversation that we have in today. Getting this type of skill set under your belt at an early age, undergrad, that you can use over and over and over, is priceless. This can change so many different things in your life. Like Victoria said, gives you the ability to buy a refrigerator for your dorm room because you need a computer. Who can compete without a computer? Like who? You can't do everything on your phone. You can do a lot of things on your phone, but you're not going to be writing your essay for your master's thesis on your phone. You ain't doing your doctoral dissertation on your phone. You need a computer, right? So I'm like, I don't want us to get mixed up with, the things that she's saying, or it goes over your head and you're not understanding. Because this young lady is, this is historic. Because I don't know nobody there's nobody in my universe that I know that has this type of information. So the other thing I want to talk about is this. So from a scholarship standpoint, what are some of the myths about scholarships that you hear over and over and over where you're engaging with that first call with the parent and the student? You're the expert. What are some of the myths about scholarships that you still are hearing in 2026 that don't mean nothing about nothing?
Yeah. I think some of the myths is that it's too late to get started. A lot of the high school senior parents we're talking to right now, they're just like, what? Like, I think it's that defeat mindset that some people have before they even know what they're even doing. So not realizing that, now's the time to get started. Actually, my peak season working with seniors, and hopefully it changes, is literally May of their senior year. It's like when everyone comes to me and they're like, I need money. Or right before May 1st, which is National College Decision Day, everybody's like, oh, wait, now I need to do scholarships. And we still are successful in helping our students get scholarships, even that close to August. But it is never too late to start scholarships. And it's really, truly never too early. So even when I get parents and they might be in middle school, the Ben Carson Scholarship Fund, you can get that in middle school. My sister got that in middle school, right? That was $1,000 or a $1,500 scholarship that was pretty much saved until she got to her senior year to be able to redeem that as well. But it is never too late to win scholarships. Another thing is that there's fewer scholarships at the college and grad level. A lot of the scholarships at the college and grad level some of them are specific to certain schools based off of a full ride or offer. But there are still so many scholarships. That's where it's just a bit more niche on maybe your major or what are you going into. So there's a lot of law school scholarships. There's a lot of MBA scholarships. So there are a lot of scholarships. You just got to start. I think that's the biggest thing. So it's never too late to win scholarships. As long as you are in debt or you're willing to press submit on the loan application, you are eligible and you can start getting scholarships.
Woo. Boy, okay. So now, I think we're hitting a lot of the key points. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was when families come to you and it's a sibling situation, right? Like the older sibling is going to college, the younger sibling is coming right behind them. They may be a grade apart or 2 grades apart. What's the best or the most effective strategy to use in those type of situations?
I mean, I think getting them both signed up. You got to get them both signed up because even when it comes to college isn't giving you a discount for having 2 students in college or 3 students in college. So it's really their own process. I've had twins. One twin is doing what they're supposed to do. Another twin isn't. You know, one twin winning all the scholarships. Another twin hasn't looked in the platform for months. So it's like everybody has to take it for themselves. I tell my students, this is your higher education. Parents, be honest with your kids. If you do have that college savings, don't tell your kid because they're just not going to be motivated. Some of them might be still motivated, but many of them aren't going to take this process seriously because they know, like, my mama going to pay for it. Like, I really don't have to do nothing. But also for those families where you know you don't have that savings, you know you haven't, saved for that time to be able to spend because that's a lot of money, tens of thousands of dollars for college. Be honest with your child because from a child perspective, it's like, I worked all this hard and all this time to get into Spelman. All you said was I needed to just keep getting straight A's. I get straight A's. I now get accepted to Spelman. And now you're telling me I can't go to Spelman because you don't have any money to help me go to Spelman?
Because I don't have $76,000 a year.
But from a child's perspective, I have to always tell my parents,
they don't want to hear it, right?
But we're not that we don't want to hear it. We don't understand. We don't understand at that time. So we need our parents, and we equip our parents with the tools to help your child understand as soon as possible. That's directly going to impact their motivation and the process. And you can literally see it night and day with the students. But being honest just really helps relieve all the stress that parents and students go through when it comes senior year. It can get really stressful when a child feels like they've done everything they're supposed to do.
Correct.
And now, 2 months before college decision day, you're learning that, ooh.
It may not happen.
Yeah, it's a hard reality. But it's I would say, like, over 60% of cases, like, it's a very, very common thing that our families go through. And it is really unfortunate, but that's why it's really important for me to tell the student, my process at securing degrees is student-led. This is not a parent-led process. So what that means is, parents, I don't need you writing no essays. Parents, I don't need you press and submit for the student. I have to make sure my students understand the process. You're motivated. You understand what's your motivation. My motivation was my mother and grandmother. I knew as the youngest 4 girls, I can get accepted to any college. I got accepted to top colleges. But that really means nothing if you're not going to be able to go because you can't afford it. Ooh. So getting accepted to the schools, I tell people, it's the easy part.
Boy,
but you have to be able to afford it.
Oh, boy. Oh, my gosh. Victoria, I don't know. I was going to have you come back on this show, but I don't know because you bruising them up because I was like, felt like I had a black eye when you said that one.
That's hilarious.
And the reason, and here's the thing. What she's saying is this. I get so many students that said, yeah, I got accepted to the University of Miami, and I'm like, that don't mean nothing. That okay, you got in. Now here comes the hard part, paying for it. Here go the hard part. Yeah, you did get accepted, right? You did get accepted to, and the top tier historical black colleges now. I mean, I think this young lady told me the other day, like Howard, her son wanted to go to Howard, and I was talking to her at the Pathways to Promise event that we were at, right? Nice. And he was all excited, and she was like, yeah, he went there for his freshman year, but he had to come back. I told him he had to find something else. She said 70, and that's why I want people to understand what we're talking about here. When we start talking about money, she told me it was $76,000 a year. 76. So that means when you graduate, and you do them 4 years, and some people on a 5-year plan, if you do 4 years at 76, that means you coming out of undergrad somewhere right around $300,000. Undergrad, and now you graduating into an economy like we dealing with right now, when we at war, You got all this uncertainty going on. You got millions of kids that's going to graduate in less than 60 days. They graduating in May. So they're going to go straight from celebrating and, so this is the greatest day of my life to like a week later, 2 weeks later, that reality is going to hit them like, man, ain't nobody hiring. We got AI. I'm competing. And I got my degree in such and such. And guess what? That student loan debt is not going anywhere. You can't get from under it unless you get it forgiven, which is almost next to impossible now, or you pay it off. So you gotta, Victoria's giving you all the cheat code to get that off. If nothing else, I think if I was a student right now, and if I heard this and I was on social media, if nothing else, I would just want to not have the debt on me, right? I don't even know about the school part, but I'll be like, if you're going to show me a way to get a scholarship where I don't have to owe people all this money, then I'm all ears. But you brought up another key point that I definitely want to go back and revisit, which is when students sign up for your program, do you all have a special message that you give to the parents just to let the parents know, like, look, this is the reality of it. You all going to have to chill out and let me work with your student and teach them how to get this done?
So we do have parental visibility, and that was something I was really intentional about. So parents have their own login on the platform to be able to literally hold their child accountable. So on my platform is so data driven. So I can see every time a child logs in, that's very clear. I can see when they last logged in, what they worked on, when is the last time they changed the tab from stuck to working on it to waiting for review. Because there's some students I'll be like, I did it. Where? I see it I see it. You know, and my parents, they were able to see it. So it really just cuts out any lack of accountability. Again, accountability is so important. So yes, my parents, they get the tools, especially in our coach tier, they're getting weekly updates. So they're getting the updates, hey, these are the scholarships your child has in priority. Priority is any scholarship over $20,000. Hey, we can't miss those.
No.
So our parents love that accountability because it allows them to have real accountable conversations with their child, right? Because as a family, you are investing in my program, right? And the family wants to see a return on investment. But what is key to that ROI is the student's participation.
Okay.
So don't think you're going to sign on to my platform, be on it for 2 months, never log in, and get a scholarship.
And then say, no, not just don't get a scholarship, but then say, I did that and it didn't work. It didn't work. She said that I saw her on the Daily Bread radio show, but we tried it and it didn't work. When the truth is, like you said, you didn't put forth the effort. So I think one of the other questions I had was this. When we look at, because one of the things, again, I think that makes your program so unique is the conversation around grad school, right? Because most scholarship individuals or people that I've seen, it's all undergrad driven. Mm-hmm. So when someone enters say they enter into the program with you and they was a high school senior and then they got into undergrad, do they stay in the program continuously or do they stop at that 12 month and say, hey, I know I got it, I know what to do now, or do they get back in? How does that work?
Yeah, the 12 month is just average, but yeah, they can stay for as long as they want because from high school junior all the way up into grad school, I'm going to have scholarships for them at every level. So a student literally just upstate their profile from high school senior to college freshman and then to college sophomore, and then they're able to get more scholarships that are matched to them. But I would say over 60% of our scholarship coaches are in grad school and are on scholarship. So that's really great. And then over 20% of the students on my platform are grad students. So Securing Degrees, even right now, I have a scholarship that we're giving away. It's for grad students. If you go to my website, securingdegrees.org, you'll be able to apply. There's literally no requirements. So no GPA requirements, no test score requirements, no income requirements. You just have to be an incoming or current grad student in this upcoming year. And we're giving away 2 $500 stipends. So I have a goal internally at Securing Degrees to give away $10,000 in scholarships this year. And so I work with my team every month or every week. We have team meetings, and we talked earlier this month and we were just like, hey, what are some of those areas where there's just not a lot of scholarships given? So we all agreed on grad scholarships. So that is like our first one we're doing. That $500 can be used for utilities, groceries, books. Like, it's literally no question asked. Right now we have about 26 applications, so definitely apply. This is what you would consider a low competition scholarship because we only have 26 applications. So when you hear these type of local scholarships or you hear stuff like what I'm saying right now, that's where you literally write it down, you apply. Like, this is literally like the sauce. Anytime when I was a high school senior, if I would hear the word scholarship or even SCA, I'm like, ooh, let me get my phone out. Let me get my phone out and see what they're talking about and make sure I apply when I get home, because a lot of those scholarships that you'll get are the ones that you hear word of mouth. You might hear on a podcast like here on a radio show where it's just not the mass public type of information.
Correct. That I'm speechless. I don't know. I think one of the things I will have to say though is we got to get you back on. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to come back. I know you're super busy. This is peak season, but I definitely want to put that invitation out there to you. First of all, I want to thank you for taking time out, because I know we had been working to get you on the show for a while. So definitely want to thank you for taking the time. The wisdom that you've shared today has definitely, it's impacted me. I see my producers over there, they shaking, they nodding their heads like, we got people in the other green room that looking, and I'm just going to say, because for someone who's been through it, this is second generation for me, because I've been through it. I have 3 adult kids. They've all been through it. They all went to college. They all graduated from college. Now I got a grandson. He's coming along. He's in the 9th grade. So that's something, he's a, strong academics, athlete, all these different things. But at the same time, I had already spoken to my daughter, but I was like, no, we got a program. We got something for him. And he, he's smart enough, and I guess you would say committed enough where he can do that work and get on that. So we're going to get him on that. But tell individuals everywhere and anywhere that they can reach out to you, so that way they can get locked in and get ready to finish this season strong. But then if they're juniors and they're coming up on their senior year, what do they need to do? And then give it to them. Give them the steps. Like, I know you're going to give them the website, but give them the steps that they need to take.
Of course. So we partner with schools, school districts, universities, nonprofits, and families. So if you're someone listening to this, if you are a school leader, a principal, executive director, any of the things, if you're in front of students that are college bound, please reach out to us at securingdegrees.org. You would go to the Partners tab, and you would schedule a partnership call so we can talk about how I can impact your students and reach my goal of supporting over 10,000 families this year. For students and families, if we are not already in alignment with one of those partners, you guys can go to my website, also www.securingdegrees.org. As soon as you go to my website, there is going to be a pop-up at the bottom that says schedule free consultation. We have free consultations where we'll walk you through our program. You can get your questions answered. You can understand our motto and what makes us different. And then most importantly, you can start to sign up for Securing Degrees so we can help you secure a debt-free education. And people always ask, when is the right time to start? Now. Yesterday, last week, was the right time to start. So if you're literally listening to this, then this is your sign to go to my website and schedule your free consultation. And those are usually the ways that we engage outside of like in-person events. We're in the community. We are heavily in the community, especially local Atlanta community. So those are the ways we can get started and help you start to secure scholarships for your higher education.
Enough said. So if you all didn't get all of that, go back, rewind.
Yes.
Go back to the beginning. Get all of this info. I'm going to continue to make sure that we promote Securing Degrees as a partner of the show. I thank you. Again, I want to thank you for coming on, because this is something that it's a serious topic. I know we did a lot of laughing and joking, but the economy in the African-American community is definitely in need of help, and this is something that this is a game changer. This is one of those things you can do and just switch the whole narrative up, right? You got money, your college is paid for, you got some extra, and now you come out debt-free, you got a totally different life. So if things are a little shaky when you get out and you don't get a job right away, you like, I ain't tripping because I don't have that beating on me. But if you got it beating on you, I'm telling you from experience, you know, you got a different outlook. I mean, it's not as rosy, but the thing I would say to you is make sure that you just keep God first. And no matter how hard it gets, know that you can overcome whatever you're dealing with, and there is hope. So the main thing is that you get started as soon as possible. It's no time like the present. So with that being said, we got another show. Make sure next week we bringing back Isaiah Harris, the Mercedes-Benz client expert. We've been getting so many views. I think he broke the record. So right now he has a clip. It's up to like 80,000, 81,000. And we've never had 81,000, but these people are them and these cars and how much they paying and the information that he's giving out. So I know we're going to continue to break records with the information that we're putting out in the universe. So make sure you stay locked in with us next week as well. We'll be on, the finished product will be on YouTube Live and Facebook Live at 8 o'clock tonight. So you'll be able to see the full production of this show as well. Want to thank everybody that joined. Thank everybody on TikTok, everybody in the green room, our super producers, and we'll see you all here, right here, next week on the Daily Bread Radio Show.
Being a lawyer, the writing skill that's required, the intellectual capacity that's required, the persuasive skills that are required, the average person doesn't have them. I'll tell my client, I don't fight for you, I fight with you. People need a voice, they need people to advocate for them.
Clients are like family here. You know, nobody is just a number. When it comes to client service, we want everyone to come out of here feeling better than they did when they came to us. There shouldn't be an idea in anyone's head that their case is not important enough.
But I use my experience as a criminal defense lawyer, my experience as a local government lawyer, and I bring it and borrow those skills to enhance my representation of personal injury clients.
I was commuting to work, and on my commute to work, got rear-ended by a motorcycle in a car. Woke up in the hospital, didn't know what was going on, and everything was a blur. 80% of my livelihood is being active. If I'm not able to show my athletes or show my clients how to do a drill, then they'll go somewhere else. As soon as I was released from the hospital, I saw the bills. And once I saw the bills, I was like, okay, this isn't my fault. I don't know where I'm gonna get this type of money from. And I remembered, I said, oh, let me call the Starkey Law Group. The law group actually understood that I needed to get back in the gym, that I needed to get back on my feet. It gave me a sense of calmness that I can do this and that they will be behind me 100%.
I'm very competitive. You know, played sports all my life, basketball, football, wrestled, did all of that stuff. And now my competition as it relates to the practice of law is making my law practice a viable entity to be able to reach a bunch of people and to help a bunch of people. And you can't do that just being a good lawyer. The Starkey Law Group lawyer is gonna be the superior knowledge lawyer in that courtroom.
If you're looking for someone who's knowledgeable, who's reliable, I wouldn't recommend anyone else but the Starkey Law Group.
We do everything in our power to win a case, from drafting appropriate pleadings in advance to showing up at the scene, equipping our clients to fight alongside us.
Here at the Starkey Law Group, we don't just fight for you.
We fight with you.